continue to put a focus on the Global Entrepreneurship Summit that kicked off earlier today with a focus on women and youth. Now, Hanna, as the chair of Kiva, expects crowdfunding to play a major role in solving access to credit hurdles for startups in Sub Saharan Africa. Here's what she had to say.
My perception is that the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well, and it is an integral part of this continent's culture. I think it's very deeply rooted here. We see that, you know, Kiva's first borrower was from Uganda. It's Africa is one of our most significant continents. We work across 86 countries, but Africa is massively important for us, and we see entrepreneurship thriving. I think one of the things that Kiva.org has helped to bring to the world is to help people understand that reframe our borrowers through the lens of entrepreneurship. I sometimes call them the unsung heroes of entrepreneurship.
Right.
So I think it's just natural to the way that people think and work and do business here.
What sort of, what do you determine on who to invest? How do you choose who you want to put your money on?
You know, we look at a number of factors. We call it character-based lending, you know, and I think it's in a way it's reframing how you think about risk. You know, banks tend to look at collateral, they tend to look at credit scores. Our entrepreneurs and borrowers don't have those things typically. Right. And so we look at things like ability to repay. You know, is it going towards a business loan that's going to be income generating? We look at trust within the community. Is somebody vouching, its reputation, willing to vouch? Oftentimes the loans are group-based, so that where the group supports each other. So, and what's interesting, you know, having sustained the 98% repayment rate, what we believe is that there's an opportunity to really kind of develop a new form of underwriting that looks at qualitative factors that are far better predictor of risk.
Julie, access to credit is a big problem for early stage entrepreneurs in this part of Africa.
Yes.
How do we translate or replicate Kiva into such ventures that will actually be giving solutions to local problems?
Well, I think one of the most important things about all this, I mean, I love talking about the fact that Kiva works, that it works at scale, but more importantly than that is the fact that it's no longer unique. There are an estimated 1,400 crowdfunding marketplaces in the world today, you know, just a short 10 years after Kiva was founded. So the lessons really now, because there are so many that can be applied here, is that essentially when you have a crowdfunding marketplace, it is a marketplace. You have a marketplace of lenders and borrowers. The way that you can get a marketplace going now is very well understood, certainly as opposed to 10 years ago. So there are many lessons that can be drawn from Kiva, how you get the, you know, snowball rolling, if you will. You probably don't use snowball as a metaphor much here in Africa, but the way you get that wheel going around getting lenders to bring other lenders into the marketplace, and similarly on the borrower side. But ultimately comes down as person-to-person connections. I think it really, the success of crowdfunding marketplaces is that people fundamentally want to be a part of each other's stories. They want to back each other's dreams. And it's not about I'm making this financial investment and what's my return going to be. The money is almost a vehicle for that connection. Right. So that's really some of the energy that drives the success of these marketplaces.
Julie, we've had a lot of changes and improvements and developments, if you may, in the financial services sector, the conventional financial services sector. Do you see a convergence point at any point in future between what you do and the conventional financial providers? Absolutely.
You know, I call this, you know, world of crowdfunding marketplaces the world's bank. You know, sort of this collective for the people, by the people, putting money in the hands of entrepreneurs directly, grassroots movement. Right. It's a bottoms-up mechanism. Traditional banking is a top-down mechanism. It's institutional, you know, institutions lending to each other. Right. And so where that convergence happens is that what we found, because Kiva works at scale so effectively, that we have institutions now kind of coming and saying, you know, this is a very effective way to deploy large amounts of money and get it into the hands of entrepreneurs, because when you're an institution, that's a very difficult thing to do. So, and we've seen this happen with a number of crowdfunding marketplaces. A company called Lending Club that I'm an investor in now takes a lot of institutional capital and marries it with individual capital coming. So that's the convergence. I think it's fundamentally changing the way we think about banking.
Looking at where we are now, going into the future, what do you see as the future of crowdfunding?
I think the future of crowdfunding is that this idea of people being connected person to person, exchange, will just become the fabric of how we work. Money is one form of exchange, other resources, whether it's expertise, connection. If you think about it today, virtually every person on the planet can be connected to every other. Virtually everybody on the planet has access to the world's body of information, and we know information is power. When you put that all together, and everybody has a mobile phone, 6 out of 7 billion people have access to a mobile phone. This idea of monetary exchange is going to become a very normalized way of working. What used to only be possible local is now possible globally, and now what's global will feel local. And the money aspect of it will just be the new fabric of how we're all interconnected.